Okay, ratios, rates, and proportions. So I'll let you look at this part here first. Okay, this is what we are going to learn. I make it louder. How do you determine the ratio of three quantities when two or more ratios of two quantities are given? Do you still remember if I ask you to give me the ratio of two quantities only? Can you give me the ratio of two quantities? For example, the number of red pen to the number of blue pen. Can you give me the example? You don't understand what I mean, lah? Okay, for example, I have 3 red pen and I have 2 blue pen. So the ratio will be 3 to 2. Simple, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now today we are going to determine the ratio of 3 quantities. Meaning that I have to add on, for example, I might add on another black pen. So it involves another quantity. So the number of black pen that I have is 1, only 1. So the ratio to 1. So this is mean 3 to 2 to 1. Okay, so this is what we are going to learn right now, whereby we are going to determine the ratio of 3 quantity when 2 or more of the 2 quantities are given. Meaning that 2 is given, 1 is not given, something like this. So you have to determine what is the quantity that we should replace over here. How do we find out? So simple, it is easy, you don't have to worry. We go through the first example first. That is example 9 in your book. This is the one. Okay, if P to Q is equal to 7 to 3, and Q to R is equal to 3 to 5, find the ratio of PQR. So PQR, just like what we see just now, it means 1 quantity, 2 quantity, 3 quantities. So what you do is you are going to write down the ratio for P to Q is 7 to 3. P to Q equal to 7 to 3 like this. And then Q to R equal to 3 to 5. So I write down. So then you need to compare what is the quantity that is the same that appear on both of this side. So we can see Q appear on both of it, right? So the ratio of Q over here, P to Q, P to Q. So Q is a 3 right here. And then Q to R. So Q to R is also a 3 right here. So these two numbers, when they are the same, is easy. You can just write down the answer straight away. If they are not the same, then we are going to continue with the calculation. That one I'm going to show you the working later on in the next example. So this example is showing that the two quantities are the same. So now we can write down the answer for the ratio of P, das means marker, P to Q to R. So the ratio of P is 7. You just write down equal to 7 to the ratio of Q is 3. Both are 3. So write down 3. And then the ratio of R is 5. So you just write down 5. That is how you find out P to Q to R. It is equal to 7 to 3 to 5. Okay, so make sure, one more thing, you write down your equal sign properly, just like mine over here. And when you write down the ratio, the 2, it has to be a column sign like this. Write down properly. Make sure you can differentiate these two. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Do you have any question on this example?
No.
Okay, good. Very good. We move on to example 10. Okay, this example is a bit long. I want to find somebody to help me to read it. Let me see. Jaden here, right, Jaden? Jaden, are you here? Jaden Sayer, are you here? Why no sound? Jaden, are you here? You are here, but you have no sound from you. Okay, let us choose somebody else. Nur Shamina, are you there? Nur Shamina. Also no. Who else? Okay, let me see. Timothy, are you there? Timothy?
Yeah.
Okay, Timothy. I choose you to read this. Hold on. No, this one. This one. Okay. Example 10. Read it, Timothy.
Reading. Read it. Okay.
Yes, read it out loudly so that your friend can hear.
At the reading corner of class 1 Jujo, the ratio of the number of storybooks to the number of reference book is 2 to
2 to 5,
5.
correct? Yes.
Yeah, the ratio of the number of the reference book to the number of magazine is 3 to 2. Find the ratio of the number of the storybook to the number of the reference book to the number of the magazine.
Thank you very much, Timothy. Okay, so we carry on over here. You look at the last line given. What do they ask you to find is they ask you to find the ratio of the number of storybooks to the number of reference books to the number of magazines. So storybook, I'm sure you know what is the meaning of storybook, right? Buku cerita. Reference book, what is the meaning of reference books? Anyone?
Buku rujukan.
Bagus, buku rujukan. And the last one is number of magazine. So you know magazine, right? Apakah maksud magazine dalam bahasa Melayu?
Majalah.
Bagus. Okay. So now in this part, this first line over here at the reading corner of class 1 Juju, the ratio of the number of storybooks to the number of reference book is 2 to 5. Okay, if you look at the wording over here, it's very long. It's not like what we have learned earlier just now. On top of it, they use P, Q, Q, R, which is easier, right? So to make it easier, we are going to make it easier. We don't want to, you are not going to write down the number of storybooks to the number of reference book to the number of magazines. It's very long and it's very tedious. So we are going to make assumption. Make assumption maksudnya kamu buat anggapan. So when we do assumption, we are going to use this word, let. Okay, you always remember you used this before, right? Let. Let what? You are going to represent each of these storybook, reference book, and number of magazine using a variable. So the variable that we are going to use over here is X, Y, Z to represent each of it. So it's up to you. What is the variable that you want to use? You also can use PQR. You also can use RST. You also can use ABC. It's up to you. But right now I'm going to use X, Y, Z. Okay. So I write down first. Let X. X equal to what? So you can refer to this X equal to the number of storybooks. You need to write down this number of storybooks. And then we continue with Y. Y equal to number of reference. Yes. What about Z? What is Z?
Number of magazines.
Yes, very good. I write down here. Z equal to number of magazines. So now you are given the ratio already. We can use the variable over here. We call this variable, variable or unknown. Maksudnya sesuatu yang tidak diketahui. Unknown. You unknown. Okay. So you already given the first line over here. The ratio of the number of storybook. The storybook is X, right? To the number of reference book. The reference book is Y. It is equal to 2 to 5. So you rewrite this to X to Y equal to 2 to 5. And then from the second line that we have over here, the ratio, sorry, this is disturbing. The ratio of the number of reference book to the number of magazines. So you know the reference book is represented by Y. The number of magazine is represented by Z. So, yes, so Y to Z. What is the ratio?
3 to 2.
Very good. It is 3 to 2. Okay, so we write down properly the equal sign. Then we need to determine, is there any number which is the same? But if you see there is a repetition, which is the y, right? We see the y, but then is the y the same? This y with this y over here, are they the same?
No.
The same, right? So if they are not the same, we are going to make it the same. How to make it the same? You just need to multiply with the number that they appear on the right. So for example, the y over here is 5. The y on the right over here is 3. So both of this ratio, we are going to multiply by 3. Whereas for these two here, we are going to multiply by the 5. Okay, so I'm going to continue the working down here. You need to show this, huh? Like I said just now, I'm going to multiply it by which one? 3, right? So 2 times 3, 2, 5 times 3. Okay. 2 times 3 equal to what?
6.
Very good. What about 5 times 3?
15.
Yes. So we have done for the first part over here. Very good. We continue with the second part. So 3, we are going to multiply by
5.
correct. And then 2 multiplied by
5.
yes. So 3, 5 equal to
15.
15. Very good. 2 times 5.
10.
And yes. So now after you have multiplied, can you see the common number here? Can I know? What is the number?
15.
15. Very good. So they are the same already, right? Yes. Get the ratio of the three quantities together now. Okay, so then lastly, you can just write down thus x to y to z is equal. So the x that we have, the x is equal to 6. You just need to copy down. To the y that we have is 15. And to the z that we have is represented by 10. Very good. So that's all. We have done the second example for this question. Are you okay, class?
Yes.
Very good. Then we move on to the next one. So you can see this part over here. How do you determine the ratio or the related value? How do we determine the ratio or the related value? Okay, now we look at the example 11 given. This is about Nurin and her mother. Okay, now I want to call for somebody else for me to read. Jaden, are you there, Jaden? Why there's no sound from you? Jaden, are you there? Not there. Magdalene?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Magdalene, you help me. Okay. Sorry, Magdalene. We give it to Jaden first. Jaden, can you help to read the question here? Example 11.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Nurin's mother tries a bread recipe by mixing flour with water. The ratio of the flour to the water is 5 to 3. If Nurin's mother has 480 grams of flour, what is the mass of water in gram that is needed?
Needed. Thank you very much, Jaden. Very good. Okay, now we look at the question given over here. Last line. What is the mass of water in gram that is needed? So you need to find the mass of water in gram that is needed for 480 grams of flour. Okay, so you have learned 3 methods before. Do you still remember? When we want to find out the value of the ratio, you have learned the unitary method. That is the first one. Do you remember? Can somebody else tell me what is the second method?
Cross multiplication method.
Very good. Cross multiplication method. What about the third one?
Proportion method.
Yes, proportion method. Proportion method. Okay, so we have learned these 3 methods, but then today we are going to apply 2 of it to solve this question. That is the unitary method, this one, and also the cross multiplication method. Okay, so now we look at the example 11 back. So Nurin's mother, she tries to a bread recipe by mixing flour with water. So only these two quantities involved, flour with water. The ratio of the flour to the water is 5 to 3. So you got to bear in mind it's 5 to 3. So if her mother used 480 grams of flour, what is the mass of water in gram that is needed? So first I'm going to use the unitary method here. Okay, I write down a unitary method. Do you still remember what is the main point of using the unitary method? What we are going to find using the unitary method? We need to find the purpose from this word. We need to find one unit or one part. That is why we called it unitary method. After you find out one unit or one part, then you are going to multiply with the number of the other quantity that is needed. Then you can solve it already. So that is the purpose you need to know. Okay, now we go back to the question. So we have two quantities involved, flour and water. Okay, in this flour and water, the ratio over here is given 5 to 3. This part over here, 5 to 3. After that, they ask if her mother used 480 grams of flour, how much is the water needed? Okay, so over here, we are going to continue with our calculation right now. So 5 parts of flour is equal to 480 grams. You can see from here, I use this color, this part. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite it as in the form of parts first. 5 parts of flour is equal to 480 grams. So yeah, if I just want to find one part of flour only. So how do I get one part? Divide. Yeah, divide. Very good. It is 480 divide by what?
5.
Yes, we divide by 5. Okay, so if I divide it, so you can see 5 times 1, 5. 5 times 9, 45. I still have a 30 remaining on the right here. So 5 times 6, 30. Meaning the answer is equal to 96 grams. Okay, so now we can continue already. The mass of water needed, because this is what we need to look for, mass of water needed. Okay, now you look at the water over here. 3 parts represent how much? It means to find out the 3 parts of it, you got to multiply with 96. Okay, so 3 times 96, you can get from the calculation actually. If you can do it like this, 3, 6, 18. 3, 9, 27. 27 plus 1, so it is 288 grams. Okay, so do you have any problem with the unitary method?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, good. Now I'm going to show you the second method, the cross multiplication method. So this part is done. You just remember the unitary method, we are looking for one part. So that is the purpose over here. One part equal to how much? After you get one part, then you just multiply with the ratio. Okay, next one, cross multiplication method. Okay, in this method, we are going to make assumption. Hopefully you still remember, let something, for example, the mass of water is the one that we don't know, so we are going to make, maybe let P equal to the mass of water. The thing that you want to find out now, we always make assumption, so let it be something. So P is an unknown, right? We don't know what is the value of P. That is why we make assumption over here. What do we want to find? We want to find the mass of water. Okay, so same thing over here, the ratio of flour to water. We write down first, it is equal to 5 to 3. So you're given 480 grams. Then how much is the water needed? So we make assumption for P already, meaning that this part will be P gram. Okay, so now we are going to continue with it, whereby 5 times P is equal to 3 times 480. Let me show it to you. We cross multiply this. Okay, and you got to remember the unknown. I want you to bear in mind the unknown will be always in front on the left hand side on top of it. So I'm going to write down the unknown. Usually it is 5 times P, right? I'm going to write it down like this, P over 3. Can you see? I changed this to the other way around. Okay?
Yes.
Is equal to what if I write like this? I'm going to change this part also the other way around, which will be 480 over 5. Yeah. It's up to you. If you don't want to change, it doesn't matter, but then you got to make sure your P, your unknown later on, it must be on the left-hand side, always on the left, so that it's easier for you to look for the answer. Okay, you can write like this. Let me show it to you. You also can write down 5 over 480 equal to 3 over P. No problem, you can write like this. Okay, so then when we want to cross multiply, means this times this times this. So 5P equal to 3 times 480. So now we want to find the value of P, okay, only P, meaning that it is equal to 3 times 480. 5P means 5 times P, right? So when we move the 5 to the right, becomes what? When we want to move the 5 over here to the right, it becomes division. Very good. Divide. Always remember it's the opposite way around. Okay, so now we can solve it already. 3 times 480 over 5. You can solve it using the calculator lah. So the answer is actually equal to 288. Okay, so you can see and you can compare already the value that we use or we found out from both of the method are the same, which is equal to 288 grams. Are you okay, class?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then we move on now. So that is the cross multiplication method. Now we look at example 12 over here. Okay, example 12. Make it bigger. Okay, this is the one. Let me find somebody else to read. Anybody volunteer to read? Anyone volunteer to read? None? If none, then I'm going to call your name. Nobody. Okay, nobody volunteer. Oh, Alicia. Yes, Alicia, can you help to read?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, read this example.
In funding a bicycle shelter project, the ratio of donations contributed by the school canteen operator, Jaya Bookstore, and PIBG is 2 to 6 to 5. If the PIBG had donated 900 ringgit, find the amounts donated by the school canteen operator and Jaya Bookstore respectively.
Wow, very good. Thank you, Alicia. Okay, so in funding the bicycle shelter project, this one, okay, the ratio of the donation contributed by the school canteen. So there are three quantities right now. There is a school canteen operator, Jaya Bookstore, and PIBG. So this is the ratio given. If the PIBG had donated 900, find the amounts donated by the school canteen operator and Jaya Bookstore. So we have three quantities involved right now. Okay, in here, they show you the unitary method, okay, whereby you just need to represent all of it right now in three different quantities. So I'll show you this one. This is from the book actually. Okay, so you can see the ratio from school canteen operator to Jaya Bookstore to PIBG. It is 265 from the top here. Okay, and then you're given that PIBG donated 900 ringgit. So we replace it over here. This is donation of 900. We need to find how much Jaya Bookstore and school canteen operator donated. So to find out using the unitary method, we are going to use the value that is given over here, the one that is complete. So PIBG is complete with the ratio given and also the amount of donation. Okay, so we are going to write down 5 parts. Represent how much? 5 parts equal to RM 900. So if you want to find 1 part, how to find 1 part, class?
Divided by 5.
It is 900 divided by 5. You divide by 5 and then we are going to get the answer as RM. How much? Yes, 180. Okay, so after you find out, yes, correct. This part is very important, means 1 part represent 180. So we can get the answer for the rest already. For school canteen operator, you see, they are represented by 2 parts. So meaning that to get the amount of donation, we just need to use the 2 here. You multiply by 180. Okay, so you can see, I think I did cut and paste over here. So you can see already 2 times 180 is equal to 360. Therefore, we get the amount of donation already, 360. Same for Berjaya Bookstore. The ratio is 6. So 6 multiplied by 180, we are going to get 1080. So you also can fill in already, 1080. So easy, right? This is using the unitary method. Okay, always remember, unitary method, you're looking for 1 part. 1 part dalam bahasa Melayu dipanggil apa?
Tu bahagian.
Ya, bahagian. Okay, meaning that kamu cari satu bahagian, kemudian kenal pasti bahagian yang lain. Simple only. Okay, any question for this one?
No.
So let's move on. Example 13, we still have 2 examples to go, then we can end the lesson already. So you just be patient. Okay, look at example 13. Okay, this is example 13. Okay, somebody who is volunteering, any volunteer now? I want you to read. Anyone volunteer to read? You all have a very nice voice. I love it.
Me,
Okay, who is that?
Ismahani.
Yes, thank you, Ismahani. Go ahead.
A piece of wire of length 12 centimeter is divided into 3 parts. Given that PQ to QR equal to 3 to 2 and RS to equal 2 centimeter, determine PQ to QR to RS.
Thank you, Ismahani. Very good. Determine, not determine. Okay, so here we have a piece of wire, meaning that you've got a wire this long, okay, of length 12 centimeter. The length of this wire is 12 centimeter. It is divided into 3 parts. So you can see these 3 parts here. PQ, 1 part, QR, another part, and RS is the smallest part. Okay, given that PQ to QR, so PQ to QR is 3 to 2. So I write down over here, it is 3 to 2. And RS is 2 centimeters, so it's already given on the diagram. Determine PQ to QR to RS, meaning that you have to determine the ratio over here, PQ to QR to RS. So how do we find out? It's very simple. Since you already given the RS over here, then we need to find out the length of P to R. Can somebody tell me how to get PR? How to get PR, class? PR is the length of the
12 divide.
Centimeter divided 2 centimeter.
12 what?
3 plus 2.
It's not 3 plus 2 yet. We are going to find out the length of PR first, from P to R. See, you're given 2 already, and then you're given the length of the wire is actually 12. So how to get the length of PR only?
12 centimeter minus 2 centimeter.
Yes, very good. So we use 12. So 12, you minus 2. So we are going to get 10. Okay. Meaning that from this P to R, the value is 10 centimeter. Okay, then in this PR is 10 centimeter. Can you tell me how much is the total ratio of PR? Total ratio of PQ and PQ, this one, PQ and also QR. How much is the total ratio? Total ratio is 3 plus 2 because that is given in the question. So 3 plus 2, how much, class?
5.
Yes, very good. Okay, which means the total ratio of PR is 5. So you can see if PR is 10 and the ratio is 5, meaning that the ratio of 1 will represent how many centimeter? I'll show you again, because the 5 over here is the ratio. So I can write down using the unitary method. 5 parts equal to 10 centimeter. Can you see here? Okay, this is 5. 5 parts represent 10 centimeter. The length over here, just now you already told me, it is 10 centimeter for this length to this length here. So I write down 5 parts equal to 10 centimeter. So if 5 equal to 10, 1 part equal to how much, class?
2.
Yes, very good. It is equal to 2 centimeter. So simple, you will be able to get the length of PQ already. I rub off everything first. Maybe it's messy, you can't recognize. So now, can you tell me from P to Q? How to get P to Q? It will be 3 times 1 part, 2. Okay, very good. So I rewrite again. PQ is 3, QR is 2. So 3 times 2, the answer is 6 centimeter. Whereby, if you want to find QR, how to find QR is the same as PQ actually. QR
2 times 2.
2.
Very good, because the ratio is 2. So we use 2 and then we multiply 1 part is 2. So 2 times 2 equal to 4.
4.
Okay, so can we write down the ratio of PQ to QR to RS already? Yes, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I rewrite everything. I use other color right now. Okay, 6 is here, 6 centimeter. QR is 4. It is here, Q to R, 4 centimeter. And then R to S is already given 2 centimeter, this one. So we can write down the answer already and make it smaller. Thus, maka PQ to QR to RS is equal to 6 to 4 to 2. Okay, now if you look at the number, can we still simplify the number here?
Yes. Divide 2.
The number can be divided by 2. Very good. So 6 divided by 2 equal to
3.
4 divided by 2 is
2.
2 divided by 2 is
1.
Okay, so we got the answer already. Simple, right?
Yes.
You remember the working again. So this one is using the unitary method. So 5 parts represent 10. You get the value of 1 part. This part is the most important one. After you got 1 part, then you can get the other length already. Okay, no question, So we move on. Okay, good. We move on to the last example. Example 14 over here. How to determine the value related to a rat. Hopefully you still remember a rat. The example of a rat. Any question? I heard somebody talking. Any question?
No.
No, okay. Go back to our question just now. Now, determine the value related to a rat. Do you still remember what is a rat? For example, what is the ratio of the speed? Speed is a rat, right? Do you still remember? So speed is equal to how much? What is the quantity involved for speed? Speed. Pardon? Speed is actually distance over time. Sometimes you can see your parent, your father, they bring you to the school, they drive, right? When they drive along, they go to, when they reach the, what do you call it, the roundabout, they have to slow down, right? Is the speed still very fast when he reached the roundabout there?
No.
The speed will be very slow, so the speed will reduce. And then if he go back to the straight road without much cars, then he can speed up. Then he is going to increase the speed. Okay, so that is the speed, which is distance over time. And then when you study further, it is actually kilometer per hour. Okay, so that is one of the rate. There are a lot of rate that you have learned earlier in this chapter. I hope you still remember. Okay, now we look at example 14 over here, and let's see what is the rate that involved. So somebody, any volunteer that can read the question now?
Me.
Who are you? Gabriela, is it? Who is that?
Shamina.
Shamina. Okay, thank you, Shamina. Go ahead.
Mr. Tan jogs at a steady rate on a treadmill and his heart beats 420 times in 4 minutes. Find the number of times his heart will beat if he jogs on the treadmill at the same rate for 12 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much, Shamina. Nice one. So now, can you identify the rate involved in this question? What is the rate that involved? It's actually the heartbeat. Okay, so we can write down heart beats rate, or you can write down heart rate also can. So it is 420 times in 4 minutes. Now we are going to write down in the form of ratio. So it will be 420 times over 4 minutes. Okay, now how do we find out the answer? Because you look at the last line, the last line is always the question. Find the number of times his heart will beat if he jogs on the treadmill at the same rate for 12 minutes. So this one is 4 minutes. But then if it is 12 minutes, then we need to find out the answer. Okay, so you have learned all the 3 types of method. I repeat again, you have learned the unitary method, you have learned the proportion method, you have learned the cross multiplication method. So any of the method can be used. Okay, so multiplication method. Now, in the earlier example, we have tried out the unitary method a few times, right? So now for this example, we are going to try out using the proportion and cross multiplication method. So in the cross multiplication method, you always have assumption. Let something be what? Let x equal to the number of times his heart will beat. Okay, that is the cross multiplication method. Same with the proportion method also, we need to make assumption. So easy, we just make the assumption once only. So we start with the assumption right now. What is the unknown that you want to use to represent the heartbeats? What is the unknown that you want to use? Do you still remember the unknown that I told you earlier?
Yes.
What do you want to
Yes.
use? ABC, which one?
C.
Okay, you want to use C. Thank you. So let C be the, what is the question 1? The question 1,
Number heartbeats. The number of things is not.
yes, thank you. Let C be the number of times, or the number of heartbeats. His heart will beat means the number of heartbeats. Okay, we make it shorter. Heartbeats. For how long?
12 minutes.
Yes, for 12 minutes. So let's see, be the number of heartbeats for 12 minutes. As long as all your details are in here, because they ask you to find the number of heartbeats. So I clear this off. Okay, we restart everything. Okay, now we are going to use the proportion method to find out. So I show you, you don't always have to write this proportion method. If you are using this method, you don't have to write down the method. I just let you know so that I write down the proportion method there only. Okay, so we have, I accidentally rubbed this off, 420 times in 4 minutes. So I'm going to write down, because this is the red already, just copy down everything which is the same. 420 times in 4 minutes. So you equate it, make it equal to how many times, meaning that C times, because you make assumption there, let C be the number of heartbeats over. Okay, now it is in 12 minutes, so change it to 12 times, 12 minutes. Okay, now we can solve it already. Because the proportion method, you just need to find out how much you need to multiply to get the answer. So I'm going to use this. 4 times what equal to 12?
3.
Yeah, times 3. Very good. Meaning that on top over here, if you want to get C, we also have to multiply by 3. Okay, so we can get the answer already. To get the answer over here, C is equal to 420 times 3. So 3 times 0, we get a 0. 3 times 2, we get a 6. 3 times 4, we get a 12. So it's 1260, meaning that Mr. Tan's heart will beat 1,260 times in 12 minutes. Okay, so you can rewrite the answer over there. Mr. Tan's heartbeat is 1260 times 4 or in 12 minutes. Okay, so this is the proportion method. Now we move on to cross multiplication method. Okay, I wrap off this part here because I'm going to use this space. So now let's see the cross multiplication method. Okay, you remember cross multiplication method, we have to make assumption, but then the assumption is already done. Which one is your assumption? Do you still remember? Which one is your assumption, class?
C.
Yes, very good. This one is your assumption. So we don't have to rewrite anymore. Okay, we just need to show the working in the form of proportion. So let's see. What color you want to use?
Red.
Red. Which red? This one? It looks like red. Okay, red. So I'm going to write 420 over 4 because that is the red that is given. 420 over 4 equal to, we use the assumption as C, right? Over 12. So cross multiplication means we cross multiply like this. Okay, I've told you earlier, the unknown, the C that we have, this one, we always have to put it in front so that it's easier for you to calculate. So we cannot write down 412 times 12 here in front. So we got to exchange. 420 times 12 will be at the back. Is equal to 4 times C, or C times 4 is the same. So I write down 4 times C first. Therefore, to get the value of C, it is equal to 420. After that, I do what? Times 12. After that, divide by 4. Very good. We bring the 4 over, then you divide by 4 like this. Okay, so when we calculate it, you can get the answer, which is the same as 1260 that you found out earlier. Okay, you can use your calculator and then you are going to get the same answer. So that is all what for the ratios, rates, and proportion that we learned today. Do you have any question?
No.